Hey everyone, I'm Kira, and here with me today I have Jasmine Chong, the founder of Yoga Lab. Hi Jasmine.
Hi everybody.
Alright, we have a few questions for you today. The first question would be, how or why did you get started with this business?
I think I started this business because I saw that yoga was getting really expensive in Singapore. Before Yoga Lab, I think the average price to practice yoga would be about $35 to $40 per class, and that's an obscene amount to pay for yoga. In the US or in Australia, you pay like $20 per class and you get a really good class, but of course you have to clean up after yourself and you don't get the luxury. So I thought maybe I can replicate that in Singapore just by bringing everybody back to basics, just giving and offering really good yoga classes and take away all the luxury. So no spaces to sit around, but at a cheaper, more affordable price.
I see. So was that your mission on the outset to bring that kind of culture back into Singapore, just so yoga is more accessible and affordable for everybody?
Yeah, I think because I had an online platform and a lot of people wanted to practice with me, but because of the places I was teaching at, it became impossible for them to practice with me. So I would say yes, it's my mission to bring yoga to more people and making it more financial sense in a way for them to be able to have a more regular practice. And also, of course, I started to see that yoga became very unsafe in a way where people were doing things that were hurting their bodies. So we also started to bring in a more technical viewpoint of how yoga should be in terms of the science of the body. That's why we call it Yoga Lab. To bring in the science behind the movements of your body, and then hoping to become safer in our practice.
That's actually very interesting. But you know, in Singapore, it isn't easy to start a business. It takes a lot of funding, and you're taking a very big risk.
Yes, definitely.
So how did that come about? How did you fund your business? Have you taken any additional funding or grants?
Initially, when I started, funding was definitely an issue. So I basically told my dad, I gave him a call and I'm like, okay, I need all the money I have. So if you're hiding them, it's time to take it out. And I think he knew that I wanted to start something. So he said, he didn't ask any questions and he was like, okay, you will have your money by this afternoon, but just know that this is all you have. And if it's gone, it's gone. And I'm like, oh my God, okay, thank you. But yeah, I took all that money that I have and thankfully it was enough to pay for deposit at the rental space that I wanted. And then renovations was kept to the minimum. Everything, the cost was kept so low, but thankfully it was in line with what Yoga Lab was, the bare minimum. And then you come in low cost. It's basically fast free. So we set up the first Yoga Lab just with my own savings in a way. Good thing that turned out well. So
yeah, very good thing.
Yay!
More than well, I would say.
It's okay. So we managed to get all the money back within the first month.
Wow.
Yes, we did. So that was really amazing. I was like, oh my God, this is meant to be. I need to continue doing this. So I took all my money back. I put it back in my bank and I told my dad, okay, keep it. And then from there we just went on without any additional funding.
So it's just been profit ever since. So you broke even within the first month.
We did.
That is
so we recovered the cost
amazing.
within the first month.
Yeah,
because my cost was really low, really low. And thankfully for Instagram and all the online platforms, people knew about us without me having to spend money on marketing. So that's really like a big blessing.
How many instructors did you have?
We started with three. So me and two other friends.
I see. But you and two other friends, but you were the sole investor.
Yes, correct. So
So they just came to teach.
Yeah, they were just teachers with me.
That is really amazing.
I know, we all worked so hard.
Yeah,
the team was just me, two teachers, and one front desk girl who is still now the girl that she's not with me anymore, but I would still meet up with her for lunch. Like the founding team will always be very close to my heart.
I'm sure. Is this your first business?
Yes, it is.
But how did you learn to run your business? I mean, you hear a lot of stories about entrepreneurs or business owners who didn't succeed the first time around.
Yeah.
So
I don't think I didn't take any kind of course. I did take a business degree when I was in SMU, but really no offense to SMU and the professors, but I don't think school prepares you for the real world in terms of like entrepreneurship. It's very much on the job learning. So I make a lot of mistakes, and I'm still making mistakes, and it's through learning from those mistakes and day to day telling myself that it's going to be okay. Like, even if you make a mistake, it's not going to be the end of the world. And thankfully enough, I have a very forgiving team, and a team that believes in us and believes in me enough to go like, okay, we're all going to make the mistakes, but we're just going to keep going, and we'll find our way out. And I also have a mentor. Her name is Betty. She's now my business partner. So when I started Yoga Lab, she was with me. She told me what to look out for. She has her studio. At that time, it was Updog Studio in the East. So I used to work for her. She was my very first yoga boss. And then when I decided to step out to open my own thing, I told her, and she was gracious enough to have. She didn't block me out, but she actually said, if you need anything, let me know. So I'm like, I need many, many things.
Yes, of course.
I need everything from you. So I asked her many questions, and down to how to apply for Singtel, how to get my Wi-Fi up, how to get my credit card, my Nets machine up. Like, all those are very real things that you have to deal with, but like, if it's the first time you're dealing with it, you wouldn't know how to. Like, a lot of people open their shop not having a proper payment system. And people can't pay, you can't collect money, then you're not going to survive, because nets and credit cards takes like at least 2 weeks. And she was the one who told me, get all these done first before you think about the operations. So the timeline worked out really well because she was there with me every step of the way. So she did save me a lot of trouble, and she taught me a lot. We combined our studio last year in December, and now she's my business partner. And she's been in the business for 8 years, so she knows the ins and outs of running a studio, how to deal with teachers, how to deal with students, and she is really the reason why I'm still sane today.
I think it's really great that you have such a supportive community to help you to encourage growth in the Singapore scene.
Yes,
it's
definitely.
Yeah, it's really amazing. I think it's a blessing to have these people in your life.
The team is really amazing. Like, we go through so much. Like, through this, 1 year, 10 months, so many changes has happened, but none have left. They're just like, we're sticking around because we do believe in the team, and we do believe in the brand. And I'm like, wow, really, I owe it to the team, actually. The success is really the team's.
That's really great. You mentioned that you made some mistakes along the way. I guess mistakes are inevitable. So what would you say was the biggest mistake you made in the first year?
Biggest mistake, I think, okay, so we started our first studio at Hong Kong Street, but it's not one of our locations anymore. So what I did was, we found the location with one of my friends who opened a bar studio, Bar to Bar, and we were at 42 Hong Kong Street. So then we signed the lease almost in a hurry because we wanted to lock down that deal. We noticed that there was a facade on the next building, but when we asked the agent like when it was going to end, like when was the renovations going to end, he basically just said in July. And then it was April when we were signing it. So I thought, okay, 3 months, I can deal with that. And then renovations happened, hacking happened, it got louder and louder to the point where I cannot run my classes. It was so loud, I can't even have a conversation like that. Then I checked with the agent again. I was like, okay, it's closing July, when can we see it end? Oh, you didn't ask me July which year. Oh no. My goodness, like at that point I could, like I literally saw red. I was like, I can understand why people would murder someone, you know. And I kind of like that much anger in me, and I realized that was a mistake, a huge mistake. Like, I was so excited, I was just like, okay, I got this, let's just go. I didn't stop and consult people, I didn't stop and think, and I definitely did not have the peace going into that lease. But I thought, you know what, let's just ignore all of that. It must be distractions, I would just go. But that was definitely a huge mistake. So learning from that now, before I make any decisions, I would really take my time with it. And I only proceed when I know that it's complete, like absolute peace, like you're gonna be okay. And I go. So far it's been serving me quite well.
Yeah. I think it's important to make mistakes in the sense that you get to learn from them. As long as you learn from them, I think it's not a waste.
It's very painful though. Like, I'm glad it happened.
But how did you deal with the noise?
So we spoke to the landlord, and we told him we we cannot have this running a business with that noise. So thankfully, because we were doing okay, classes were filling up, so I had a second location within 2 months. So then we had another location where we could still run our classes. Eventually we ended the lease at Hong Kong Street, and we moved everything out and we put it at Duxton. And then the timeline worked out just fine, because then I was also thinking of combining with Updog Studio in the East. So with the closure of Hong Kong Street, we had the opening of East. So it was just enough space for everybody to move their practice somewhere else. So we didn't have a waitlist problem or people getting angry because they didn't get their meds. It was just a closure and then an opening. So it all came around. Timing was good.
It all worked out in the end.
It all worked out in the end. Yes.
But what do you think was the smartest thing then that you did in the first year? Since we spoke about mistakes, you know.
I think talking to Betty and asking her many questions. I wouldn't think it's the smartest thing, but I think maybe not being afraid or shy to ask for help. I think a lot of entrepreneurs, when they first step out into the world, it's like, oh wow, this whole new level or world of opportunities out there, and you just want to do everything and try everything, but then we are inexperienced, and we have to first acknowledge that we don't know everything. And it's also okay to ask people who knows. I mean, you will get rejected by 10 people, but you only need one who's willing to tell you things, and you're like, okay, you know, so I think that really helped me through a lot of unnecessary holes that I potentially would have fallen into if I didn't have Betty. So that, I think, would be the smartest thing.
Definitely, I think. I think it was definitely a good thing that you did, asking her or acknowledging that you know, you don't know and you need help. I think that's really the best thing anyone can do.
No room for pride, even though you're like coming out doing your own thing. There's really no room for you to feel like I'm the best, I know everything, because then that's where you start to fall, right? Because so always remaining humble and then just seeking help when you need.
That's very good advice, I would say. What do you think is the most rewarding thing about running your own business? I mean, you've taught at other studios before, but you weren't an owner, you were just a teacher. So what do you think would be the most rewarding thing?
I think now, for me, the most rewarding thing is to have the team together that feels more than just colleagues, you know? Like, we go out and we feel more like a family, talking about things, problems. It's not so much how much money we make. It's never been how much money Yoga Lab makes. It's always about how happy is the team, how happy are the students, how happy are we as owners. And I realized that as we keep focusing on that, and we keep focusing on delivering good classes, everything else follows. So I find that very rewarding, because I take myself out of having to worry about the bottom line and stressing over like, oh my god, I'm making enough money. That has never been the focus. It's always been about like really people. I mean, if you're going through something, it's like our teachers, if they're going through something, we want to be there for her. And it's building up that strong team that is worth more than really anything else, bottom line wise.
So you believe in a good work culture, a good work environment, and the rest will just follow suit.
I do believe in like relationships lah. Like, it's never top down. Like, the directive will never be top down. I believe if you treat your people right, they will then treat your customers right. And if you are passionate about something and people can see your fire and your passion, you will ignite something in them as well.
What do you think would be the challenges or difficulties in, you know, handling people or your business?
The first challenges I met was very much like what I told you, because I am still friends with my teammate. So there is a level of friend, but then when it comes to work, how do you then step up and go like, okay, we need this done? I would say it takes a lot of communication, a lot of open communication, and talking to them and telling them, I want to be on your side as much as possible, but this is what I need done as well. So we need to come to an understanding and compromise to know that we need to find a balance in that two relationship. I will not give you a directive from top down, but I need you to see it from my point of view. It's not the easiest thing to hold a balance of, but I think it paid off. because the relationship we have now is so much stronger than, like if people try to poach my teachers, they're not going to go. They're going to be like, no thanks, I'm really happy at Yoga Lab and I believe in Jasmine or the team, and they would stick around. And people have tried poaching our teachers, and I hear about it, I'm like, I'm not even worried. I'm like, I don't even want to chat, I don't even need to have a chat with my teachers to check if I need to counter offer. I'm like, we are okay. I believe in the relationship so much that, it's more than just how much money you can offer them.
Yeah, it seems like you've really cultivated a very good, strong bond within the entire company. And
the support system is really strong in this company.
Yeah, I think that's very important.
I do think so too. The team is so tight, like closely knit. It's awesome.
It is. Yeah. You mentioned that Betty has helped you a lot in starting up Yoga Lab. Would you say that she is a business person or entrepreneur that you admire the most, or would you say that she's your role model?
I call her my role model all the time. I tell her all the time, and I tell people that when I grow up, I want to be like Betty.
Is she happy to hear that?
Yeah, I think so. I hope so. So she would also be the godmother of my children if she is willing. So a little bit about Betty. She is 36. Oh, I hope she doesn't mind this. She has two children. She has two kids, one boy, one girl. She has a family to run. At the same time, she has this business to run, but she's never made it a thing. You know how like it's very common for people to hear like, I've got no time for this, I've got no time for that because I need to do this, I need to go home to my kids, and then people make a big deal out of it so much so that you fear it. Like as a woman without kids yet, I fear it because I hear it all the time. But with Betty, it has never been a problem. She's just like, it's just what life has presented you with, and you just go about things as you would, and then you just have more responsibility, but you don't have to like dread it, hate it. You don't have to deal with things in a very negative way. I used to deal with stress very differently from how I would deal with it now, and it's all thanks to Betty because she looks at things in a very different perspective. And I used to deal with people very differently. Like if people don't get their shit together, I'll be like, I mean, my banking background would be really just like, seriously, it's not that difficult. And I would really say that because I believe in like that honesty as well. But then she said, with your truth that you're speaking, you have to remember to add kindness in it. You have to be kind with it. And I realized it really struck me that I never thought about it that way. I thought I'm being honest with you, and that's the best I can do for you, because I would rather be an honest person than lie to you in your face and think, you're doing a good job, but you actually are not. So adding that level of kindness really made me, like it unlocked a lot of things inside of me, like what I am capable of as a person as well. Like there's always a kinder way to do things.
Was it tough to find a balance between that, being straightforward and being kind?
It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier now because I know that I can put forth things without hurting people. But I mean, switching the perspective was tough, but now it's a lot easier. It's still being honest is easier than lying about things, because you don't have to you don't have to feel guilty about not saying something, but then having to find that kindness is just a layer on top of it, and you can make people feel good about what you just said. It's just how you do it, I guess. But once you find it, it comes very naturally, unless of course you're a very mean person, but I don't think so.
I don't think anyone wants to be mean.
No, I have an ex-boss who I think wants to be mean intentionally. So I don't really know. But we'll see.
All right. Would you say that's an advice they would give to, people who are starting their own business to learn how to manage people and be kind? I think in general, just be a better person. Just be a nicer person. And there are more important things in life than your bottom line. Like if you step over people, or if you ruin your relationships just because you need to earn that extra deal, then question again, is it really worth it? Really just be a better person. That's some very good advice. I mean, it doesn't just last for your business, it builds up your character and it builds people relationships as well.
I think business is just part of life, right? It shouldn't be seen as a complete separate thing. It's still part of your life, so you should do your business the way you would treat your family, the way you treat your friends.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think is something that you wish you had known before you started your business?
I think no one can ever tell you how difficult it can really get. I mean, you have an idea, like entrepreneurship is tough. I've heard that it's tough. I've heard that it's all consuming, but until you're in it, you don't really know how much of you it's gonna take. If I had known that in the full, like 100% acknowledgement, I would be able to make more arrangements to find balance between other parts, like amongst work, family, dogs, friends, like putting them in a pie chart and equally divide.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really a journey, really having to go through that and then finding that balance. Until this day, I'm still finding the balance. So I guess you can only prep yourself that much, but it's still learning on the job and having to go through it. And maybe bookkeeping. Like actual bookkeeping knowledge, like patience to sit down and go through bookkeeping.
It does take a lot of discipline, I would imagine.
Oh my god, it's the worst thing ever. Thank God for accountants.
It sounds like you have a lot on your plate. So, what is a typical day like for you? Would you mind walking us through?
Okay,
your day?
I would have, usually I would wake up at 6 and then I will start my classes at 7. I will have 2 classes in the morning, 7, 8:30, and then I will have my breakfast. After breakfast, I would go for a practice if I can fit that in, and then I would have a lunch meeting. After lunch meeting, I would 2 to 4 is where I try not to put anything in. So I would try to take a nap between 2 to 4. But sometimes if there's a meeting, we have to squeeze it into 2 to 4, then there would be a meeting as well. If I have a meeting at 2 to 4, I won't teach at night. If I do have to teach at night, I will nap 2 to 4. If I do teach at night, my day will end about 9:30, 10.
Sounds like, yeah, you've got it all in balance. I mean,
It took a while.
make sure that you have enough rest.
Yeah.
If you're teaching, if not, you can afford a meeting.
Because I come to realize that if I pack my entire day, which is what I used to do, then my classes will not be as quality, and I don't want to sacrifice
You would
on
be
the
so
quality.
exhausted.
Yeah, I don't even know what I'm talking about. I just never blah 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 blah, and I'm like, did I say elbow or fingers? Like, what did I just say?
Oh no.
Yeah.
How long did it take for you to find that balance?
I don't think there's a timeline really. I think
Just learn along the way?
Yeah, you just have to really be very honest with yourself. If you're really tired, take a break. If you're mentally drained, cancel, go home and sleep. Or yeah.
So your well-being is definitely
Listening,
important.
be willing to listen to my body, and when it's telling me it's too much, then it is too much, and not like I'll take another coffee and I'll keep going. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just
good. So you don't push yourself to
being very
too much,
honest with yourself about your capabilities of that day, I think.
All right, we have one last question for you. What is your favorite TV show and go-to snack?
I don't watch TV.
You don't watch TV at all?
I don't watch TV. I had a rented apartment, and the only thing I didn't want from that apartment was I don't want a TV. Like, I don't have any use for it. Netflix. I don't chase any kind of drama. I just like, okay, maybe when I'm bored, I'll just click on something and it just keeps playing.
Okay.
Yeah. Snack.
Yes, what is your go-to
I've
snack?
got so many. Okay, when I'm really stressed out, I like salty things, but I don't run to salted, like potato chips. I think, that's really bad, but instant noodles. Like, I would just be like, I need instant noodles, and it would be like 2 packets of seasoning, and then just go.
Wow, what's
Yeah,
your
it's really,
favorite
really bad.
favorite instant
I
noodles?
don't know, anything, tom yum, chicken
Spicy?
soto, curry, anything I can get my hands on. But I try not to stock my home with instant noodles because I know how bad it can get. Yeah,
So you like the salty, savory kind of.
yes,
snack.
savory for sure.
All right, I think that's about all the questions that we have for you
Thank
today.
you.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
your
very
time.
much.
Thank you,
Thank
Jasmine.
you.